Hello and welcome back to my channel, Left on Red. I am Jordan and today I'm here with a review of the Bridgerton series. So the Bridgerton series is actually based on the book series by the same name. The first book, The Duke and I, is actually this first season that has been adapted. And I'm gonna be real with y'all. I read the book a few months ago, like the first book, solely because I saw that little advertisement that Shonda had a piece coming out, and I saw people dressed up. I'm like, what is this? Okay, we in the 1800s. Oh, wait a minute, there's black people. So that had me intrigued. I actually read the books, and of course, the books are a little bit different than the show, but that's what initially got me interested because the preview was just that good off of Netflix. Sometimes when you have these adaptations, they're adapting it from book to screen and they decide they're going to switch some things around, and you're like, why would you even do that? Why don't you just stick to the script and make sure that we all like it like we like the book? Well, Shonda, guess what she did? She did all that. But somehow it worked where I felt like all of the changes actually added to the story. It either added depth to the characters, added to the plot, added to the storyline and the way things flowed, made me more engaged, made me more intrigued, added characters that we didn't even have in the book that somehow brought more life. Let's get into this review. We getting into the review. So one of the main things I loved about this adaptation was the casting. The casting was impeccable. Sometimes you have visualizations of the people in your head, and you're reading the book and you're already imagining your own characters, but seeing how she casted, I can see whoever was the casting director did phenomenal. Like with Daphne, I could see Daphne. With Hastings by far best casting to me. Simon Bassett, phenomenal casting. Like I felt like you could tell he read the book, and not only that, you could tell he brought his own kind of interpretation of that character with him, because a lot of his nonverbal lines, like a lot of the mannerisms, the way he carried his mouth, a lot of those things were things that were discussed in the book, and he brought it to life without you even knowing all of it. I'm telling you, what they did with that character, they did that. And even adding the boxing element and adding all, took it up a notch. And that's another thing. I like the storyline because in the book, a big theme is also on women and kind of like their sexuality and how they don't really, no one tells them anything. Like the guys can run around and be rakes all they want, sleeping with all these different girls, and girls don't even know the basics of what sex is. They don't even know how babies come to be. And, the show plays on that, but it does it in less subtle ways that aren't necessarily subtle, but by also character additions. Like Marina in the book, she's not even, I don't even know if she's in the first book. I can't even really remember if she is, but if she is, she's not of significance. But taking that character and making her have a fully developed, fleshed out plot, and how it is, the choices that women had to make and all this other stuff. Like I thought that brought so much more to the story. It was done phenomenally and really well. Other changes that were done that I thought were good was the Queen Charlotte edition. I felt like we got a little historical accuracy up in there. It's widely discussed that Queen Charlotte was either biracial or had some type of African heritage. So for her to add this character, a queen who was not even in the book, to display that, I thought was done great. And to allude to the little things like the king's mental illness stuff, like a little bit of stuff was just thrown in there to give the little history buffs a little taste, which I really liked. One of the things that I liked that one of the biggest controversies with the book is that there's a rape in the book and it's never addressed as rape. And that bothered me when reading it. I didn't know about that before reading it. And then after reading, I was like, what? Wait, what did I just... You're trying to grapple with what you kind of just read, and it's very uncomfortable and it's just not good. And then I read other people's reactions. I was like, oh, okay, so this is a consensus. So I'm glad that in the show that they changed that aspect of it, but I don't know if they changed it enough. Like, it's still assault, but I don't want to give too much within the plot of the book. So I don't know how to explain it, but in that aspect, I'm glad that they changed it. But I still feel like I wish that probably was altered even more. But those are one of my few gripes. I really didn't have much else I would have changed. The only other gripe that I did have is there is a line that mentions that they talk about race. And I really felt like they should have done like the Cinderella way, where they don't even really address it or explain it, because I don't feel like there needed to be an explanation as to why Black people were included in there, only because it took me out of the plot. Like, in that moment when they said it, it almost seemed like a line that was added after the fact that wasn't a part of the original script. And it's almost like a disclaimer. And I know that wasn't the intent of it. And even with, I understand the reason why they did it. But for me as a viewer watching, it kind of pulled me out of the story a little bit. But that's just my little tidbit. You know, that's just me. That's not everybody. So for other people, I'm sure they probably were like, oh, I love that take. But I felt like some of the stuff was just self-explanatory, especially with having Queen Charlotte. I felt like that character in itself explained enough. Yeah, but all in all, I loved the series. I loved the Netflix adaptation. I binged it in 2 days, and that was with me trying to save stuff. I liked the book, but I actually loved the series. So I would be one of the ones who would say I preferred the series over the book, which says a lot because I liked the book, but I loved the series. So if I was to recommend anything and you don't feel like reading the series, you're going to get all that and more. But if you like me, I'm going to be finishing the rest of the books in that series because I love having the kind of like that little, I don't know, inside scoop almost. Like when you're watching it, they throw these little things in there where only if you read, you would know it, like little things.
Favorite character or least favorite?
Not in the book or the series?
Not you, that's the question for them.
Oh, okay. So the question for y'all, thank you, Dwayne, is who is your favorite character within the series and your least favorite character? I'm going to answer even though it wasn't directed towards me. My favorite character in the series, it was the Duke of Hastings. I think Simon was the best character. My least favorite, this is actually a good question I want to talk about. Actually, Anthony. Like, which is crazy because in the books, I didn't have too much a problem with him. I thought he was a little like, the actor did a good job of portraying some of more of his annoyingness. But when I was reading it, I was kind of giving him passes. Like, I was kind of like, boy, you was way too invested in your sister. You doing way too much, da, da, da. But on the show, Homeboy was beyond annoying. But I think in a good way. So he's my least favorite character. And I think season 2 is going to be focusing on him. So I think it'll be really cool if they can do like a This Is Us with me on how I flipped on Kevin. Y'all see how I just switched topics so easily? Anyways, let me know what y'all thought about the Bridgerton series. I would love to get your thoughts. And if you have made it to this point, if y'all could go ahead and add a little bumblebee, a little bee, in the comments so I know it's real. And for my readers, y'all know why I'm saying add the B. All right, I will catch you guys in the next one. Love and light. Deuces.